So guys, E3 is now over and our sleeping patterns are slowly going back to normal, well unless you're like me who stays up to 3 or 5 o'clock in the morning watching Naruto, an anime I will probably never finish because it doesn't seem to end. I mean, the first part is 220 episodes, and then Shippuden is 520, then there's all these spin-offs. What have I done to myself? But anyway, during E3 we got a ton of new announcements as well as new trailers for existing games, and in this video I'll basically be going through my top games. So guys, hey, what's up? My name is Shane and these are my top games of E3 2018. Up first is Jump Force. I thought this might be a new trailer for the One Piece game, but it wasn't. It's a new game called Jump Force. It includes characters from animes such as Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball, and they basically just scrap it out with each other. I have to admit that this is probably one of the nicest looking anime games I have ever seen. It just looks so damn good. Now I haven't played any of the J-Star games before, but this one just looks amazing, and the one thing that really got me excited was at the very end of the trailer where we seen Light Yagami and Ryuk from Death Note. Now I actually had a bunch written for Light's gameplay, but I found out recently that Light actually won't be a playable character unfortunately, but he's part of the story, which is really interesting. I think maybe he'll be the main villain and all these characters might have to team up to fight him. Just the thought of Naruto and Goku beating the crap out of him, I would love to see that. And also, if they're bringing in Death Note characters, is there a chance we could see the likes of Misa and Ram? Probably not, but of course we'll know more over time. Jump Force definitely has my attention. I'll be keeping up to date with it, and hopefully they reveal more characters soon as well as a story trailer. Up next is Nioh 2. Now in my opinion, Nioh is underrated because the first game was so good. It's a great addition to the Souls-like games. You play as a character called William, there's a story, it has amazing gameplay, it has a ton of unlockable skills that give you more ways to fight, it has some great boss battles, and overall it's just a great game, and I'd advise anyone who is a fan of Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne and those type of games to pick it up because it's definitely worth your time, and now we're getting a second one. Now we only got a short cinematic, but I'm intrigued to see what the setting will be like, the new bosses, if there's any new gameplay features. Will we be continuing the story of William, or will we have a new character? Do we get to create our own character? We'll just have to wait until Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja release new trailers and information so we can find out more. Up next is Dying Light 2. I think the first game was really fun. I still play it every now and then. Now whilst the story isn't really all there and there aren't much memorable characters, the gameplay is where it's at. Parkour and zombies go so well together. You can climb anything, craft mods for weapons, you have a ton of unlockable skills. At nighttime it gets a lot more dangerous where volatiles and other zombies come out, and overall it's just a zombie game that you can have a lot of fun in. And now we're getting a second one. The setting definitely looks a lot better because the first game was set in a place called Haran, which was a really depressing place in my opinion, and I think I already prefer the new setting over the previous one. So what's new in this game? Well, as well as the new setting, there's new weapons, new skills, you get to make choices which I find interesting, and the choices you make will impact the world, which the first game didn't have. Now we found out that the people who designed the Bloody Barn quest in The Witcher 3 will be designing missions in this, which is great. I love that mission in The Witcher, so I can't wait to see what these quests are like and also how things turn out in this game based on the choices we make. I'm also hoping that there's a good story this time as well as memorable characters, otherwise it'll pretty much just be the first game just with a few new features. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Dying Light 2 and I'll probably end up picking it up because I really enjoyed the first game. Next up is Death Stranding. Where do I even begin with this game? Well, we finally got to see some gameplay as well as a few cutscenes, and while we still don't know much about the game, this trailer kind of gave us a little bit of insight as to what it'll play like. It's an open world that you explore, you carry resources, even bodies, you try to avoid these spirit demon things that are basically Dementors from Harry Potter, I guess. I'm not too sure how to even talk about this game, but for most people, including myself, the reason why we're excited for it is because we don't know much about it. We don't know what to expect, and the trailers, whilst they're amazing, they're not very informative. We all know Kojima is capable of making great games, and we're all hoping that this game will be worth the wait, and I'm sure it will. Hopefully in the next trailer we see some action and more of Mads Mikkelsen's character, because they were in the second one, and also at the Game Awards for a tiny bit, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about him. them as well as the story. I'm not sure when we'll next see something new from Stranding. I'm thinking maybe PlayStation Experience in December, but hopefully the next trailer gives us more to go on, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this game. Next up is Cyberpunk 2077. This game is being made by CD Projekt Red, the people who made the Witcher games. Now, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I love it and I would recommend it to anyone. It's a beautiful game full of so much content. It has a ton of replayability, an amazing open world, great characters, gameplay. Both DLCs are well worth buying. There was a ton of free DLC and overall it made for a phenomenal game, and since I loved that game so much, of course I'll support any future games they make. So we got a new trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, this futuristic first person game. Now this world looks great, I'm already sold on it from the trailers, but unfortunately we still haven't seen gameplay yet, except for those who got to see it at E3, who I am extremely jealous of. From the people who've seen gameplay, there's been nothing but praise, so that immediately makes me happy and keeps me hyped for the game. I can't stress how much I'm anticipating the gameplay reveal. I just want to have an idea of what this game is like and what it plays like, and since there isn't much to go on since it was just a cinematic trailer, all I can say is that I'm really excited for it, and hopefully we don't have to wait too long until we see gameplay. Up next is the Resident Evil 2 remake. So when this trailer came on, I was like, oh, it's a game where you play as a rat. I guess that's pretty neat. Then the rat died and I was like, oh, per rat. But then we seen that there's a zombie, and then we seen Leon Kennedy, and after being rumored for the longest time, the Resident Evil 2 remake is real and it looks so good. The visuals in this are insanely good. The gore, the environments, the lighting, the zombies, the fact that when you shoot a zombie you see where the bullets hit, you can see their insides, like their bones, their blood and guts. It's beautiful. It's also in third person, which I prefer over the fixed camera angles. While I appreciate the original games, my personal preference is third person, and I'm kind of glad they decided to go with that. Now, what I've seen in the trailer as well as the gameplay demo, I'm really excited for this. It looks like it'll be really fun and also terrifying, and luckily for us we get to play it on the 25th of January, which is kind of far away, but we'll have enough games to tide us over until then. It also kind of sucks that Kingdom Hearts 3 is out on the 29th of January, because if I don't finish this game in 4 days, it'll be neglected for Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm pretty happy that the game is officially announced after being rumored for so long, and I'll definitely be picking it up in January. Next up is Ghost of Tsushima, the open world samurai game by Sucker Punch. You know, I'm still waiting for the PS4 Sly Cooper collection or a new Sly game, but this game looks alright, I guess. I'm just kidding, this game looks great. I was pretty much sold on this game from the first trailer, but at E3 we got to see some gameplay which showed off characters, scenery, combat, and I'm sure I'll say this for pretty much every game in this video, but this game looks beautiful, it looks so good, and it definitely needs a photo mode. Now, since this is the first time seeing gameplay, it's safe to assume a fair bit of it was scripted, and certain things won't happen exactly like they do in the gameplay that we've seen, but I really like the combat. Like when we first see our guy in action, he just kills a guy with one slice of his katana, which was pretty cool. It seems dodging and parrying play a big part, and if I'm right, if you time your parry right, you get a perfect parry, which leaves the enemy open for an attack, which I really like in games. I like that we get to climb objects, buildings, we get a grappling hook, there's air assassinations, very similar to Assassin's Creed. The camera during the last fight was very cinematic. I know some people didn't like the fixed camera, and I'm not sure if it will bother me. I'd have to play it for myself to see, but what we've seen, it was just a side mission, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of this world, more missions, more story related missions, what other weapons are in the game, boss battles, if there's customization, more gameplay. I'll definitely be picking up a Ghost of Tsushima, and hopefully we get a release date at PlayStation Experience in December. Up next is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the next installment in the Assassin's Creed series. Now, Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite game series, and in my opinion, Origins, the last AC game, pretty much saved the franchise because people were getting tired of the same gameplay mechanics in a different setting every year, but Origins took AC in a completely new direction, and in my opinion it was for the best. They completely changed the game. It has completely new combat, a more immersive world, less repetitiveness, and overall made an amazing Assassin's Creed game. And now we have Odyssey, which will be very similar to how Origins played, but they've added a bunch of new features. We can play as a male or female, we have dialogue options which will impact the game, the naval combat is similar to Black Flag where we have an upgradable ship, we can also upgrade parts of our armor, there's new combat mechanics, as well as the option to romance characters, which has never been in an Assassin's Creed game before. Now, I don't think anyone was expecting an AC game this year since we got one last year, But yeah, it seems we are, and I'm really excited for it, and it's out on the 5th of October. Up next is Devil May Cry 5. Another game that was rumored for a pretty long time is now a real game, and I'm really excited for our first current gen DMC game with Dante, Virgil, Nero, as well as new characters. Now I'll admit, when I first seen Nero I was like, yeah, the visuals and details are great, but why does he look like that? But I'm kind of okay with it now. I was also like, why does he have a robotic arm? Where's Devilbringer? And then, as we've seen in the trailer, someone who I'm pretty sure is Virgil just rips it off. We're not sure what his motives are, but I'm looking forward to finding out. I loved pretty much all of the trailer. It's just over the top. Cutting up demons still looks great. Can't wait to see all of Nero's new abilities. I mean, we see him literally skate on his arm. How cool is that? Also, the giant demon boss looks really cool too. Hopefully there is a good variety of bosses in the game, and when we beat the game, hopefully we can play through it as Dante, Virgil, and who knows, maybe Lady, Trish, and whoever the character to the right is. I still have no idea who they are, but I assume they might be a friend to Nero and Dante. Hopefully they feature in a trailer at some point, and unfortunately we have to wait until spring 2019 to play the game, but at least it's confirmed and I'm happy with what I've seen so far. Up next is Sakura, something Shadows Die Twice. You know what I'm talking about. When this was first teased back at the Game Awards, a lot of people thought this was Bloodborne, which is understandable because the object in the trailer did look like a trick weapon. But in the background you can see Japanese text, which has nothing to do with Bloodborne. And we found out it's a brand new IP called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. We got a trailer and some gameplay, and I am very excited for this game. It was safe to assume that since From Software were making this, it would be a Souls-like game, but it's actually very different from the Souls games in terms of gameplay, and I really like it. I like that they're doing their own thing with this game. So our character loses their arm and gets a new one, much like Nero in Devil May Cry 5. This arm can turn into a weapon. It can be used as a grappling hook to traverse. You can use it in combat to launch yourself at enemies. It can turn into a shield. I am really excited to see what else it can do. A cool feature in this game is that you can resurrect once you die. Now I'm not sure how it works. I think you'll only be able to do it a certain amount of times. As I said, I'm not sure, but I like that you get a second chance, which will be extremely useful in boss fights, and knowing From Software, they like to make some horribly difficult bosses. Anyway, I pretty much love everything I've seen so far, and I'm happy we're getting more games like these. I mean, we have Ghost of Tsushima as well as Neo 2 From Software. I'm still waiting for Bloodborne 2 to be announced, but I'm happy enough with this for now because it looks amazing and I cannot wait to play it. The second last game on this list is The Last of Us Part 2. Like a lot of people, I loved the first game. The characters, the world, the story, pretty much everything about it. I genuinely care about what happens to Joel and Ellie, but so far we ain't seen much Joel. Dear Naughty Dog, please don't kill Joel. You'll leave your fans traumatized. But anyway, we got our first look at gameplay, and damn, this game looks so good. It starts off all peaceful with Ellie in a room full of people. Everything is calm. Her and her friend Dina are having a good time, and then it transitions to the real world of The Last of Us, where Ellie is taking down a dude by stabbing his throat and covering his mouth so he can't scream. Now if I'm right, this game takes place 5 years after the first game, so of course Ellie has learned a lot, and like Dina said at the start, people should be terrified of her. This game looks just as tense as the first game, whilst we unfortunately didn't see any zombies like clickers, who I am dreading seeing again because all I remember is them eating my face in the first game, but humans are just as dangerous. So to avoid fighting, we now have more ways to get around the environments. Just like the recent Uncharted games, we can hide in grass, we can now go prone and crawl under cars, but as we've seen, the enemies check under cars, so it doesn't guarantee that you'll be safe. We've seen the crafting is back. We now have more items to craft, like different arrow types, like explosive arrows, which can be great for multiple enemies, as it can blow up one of them and cause the others to get knocked over, which gives you a chance to kill them. Now I know Naughty Dog care about this game more than anyone, and I know they want to make the best game that they can, so I'm happy to wait as long as I need to until I can play it, and I just want them to release it when they're ready to. Also, Naughty Dog, please don't kill Joel or Ellie. I want to be able to sleep at night. And finally, the last game on the list is Kingdom Hearts 3. This is one of my favorite game series, if not my favorite. I played the first two on PlayStation 2, and they're probably my most memorable childhood games. And now, the third game is only a few months away. With every Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, we see new things, new gameplay features, improved visuals, hints as to what the story is about, what characters are in it, and each time it keeps looking better and better. At E3, we got two trailers, one that showed off Frozen and another that showed off Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, and they pretty much left me speechless. I can't stress how excited I am for this game. It's probably my most anticipated game of all time, I'm not even exaggerating. Whilst I'm not the biggest fan of Frozen, this world looks great. Sora skates around fighting Heartless, you slide down snowy mountains on Goofy's shield, which immediately reminded me of that one mission in the Bionicle PS2 game. If any of you have played it, you know what I'm talking about. And Pirates of the Caribbean looks so damn good. There's naval combat like Assassin's Creed, you can swim underwater, you can fight underwater, fly on Heartless, sail around in the Black Pearl. There's an endless list of things I could talk about, like why this shit is aqua norded, what is this? Well, in January, all of our questions will hopefully get answered when we finally get to play Kingdom Hearts 3 in its entirety. That thing we've been waiting so long for, and then when that's released, hopefully we start seeing more of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know, probably one of the most anticipated games of all time. But anyway guys, that was just a list of a bunch of games from E3 that I really liked and I'm really excited for. Feel free to let me know in the comments what your top games from E3 were, and are there any games you were hoping for but didn't show up? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.